Hello everyone, Tina here. Welcome to Card Making Fundamentals and welcome to our final classroom, our final lesson for the Fall Build-A-Gnome Classroom. So sad to see it go. I love gnomes, and if I could create a year's worth, I probably could. But we're going to create with our final lesson kit. This is the last one in our packaging. I'm going to take that out, and then we're going to go over a few supplies that we need to create our final card today. We need some brown ink. I have Memento Rich Cocoa. We're going to need a stamping block to stamp one of our sentiments, and then some basic supplies. You're going to need your scissors. I'm going to use my craft pick, and I'm also going to be using my jewel picker upper here, my wax pencil, to pick up those small pieces. Basically, all I need them really for is for the nose and the hands. They're not too small, but they're small enough. It just makes it easier with the jewel picker upper. Before we jump into our card project, we might need glue. We'll bring that in just in case. Let's jump in and create our final card with our Fall Build-A-Gnome Classroom. Okay, this is our lesson kit. Let's take everything out, and we're going to start by building our gnome. I tried not to ramble too much, because as I'm recording, I'm looking at my clock, and I'm thinking, gosh, I talked for 4 minutes, and I don't want this to be a 30-minute video, but I kind of love talking with you guys, so we have a lot of strips in here, but bear with me. Let's build our gnome first, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see better. We've been having some beautiful mornings, some very cool mornings. I just love it. I love fall. I think fall is my most favorite time of the year. I love the colors, and I love, as I jibber jabber, I'm going to separate. We get 2 gnomes, so I'm going to separate my gnomes, but I just love fall. Fall's my favorite. And I'm making sure too that the gnome that we're going to use is the right way. You want to make sure when you take your gnome, I like to layer my beard on my gnome base, making sure it's the right way, and make sure that your little hat's facing the left. And so I'll put this one off to the side. But our mornings have been just fabulous. This one has 3 leaves. Sometimes if I cut out too many, I'll put extras. It doesn't hurt to have extras. That's our hat here. And our button. And I just love the fall weather. That's what I was talking about. Fall weather is fabulous because the colors are gorgeous. The town that I live in has a lot of old trees, and it's huge. The trees on my block are huge, and so just to see the colors changed. We get 4 seasons over here, so we get the golds and the yellows and the purples and the reds and the oranges. I just love fall. Okay, this is going off to the side. We have our foam adhesive, and let's start with our gnome. For this gnome, I didn't bring in a backing. We have a leaf, and we're just going to start by adding our hands to our leaf. So I'm going to take my glue. Did I mention we needed glue in our supply list? And what you're going to do is add a dot on the left of you. I'm too far away. And then I'm going to add another dot on the other side. And then just to add your hands, it's very easy. There's no right or wrong place for the hands. You can go high or low, but you're going to put 1 to the left and 1 to the right. And I think I want this one a little bit towards the top. I like them kind of at an angle. And that's all we're going to do with this little leaf here. I'm going to let that dry a bit, and in the meantime, I'm going to take my hat and I'm going to line it up and then flip it over so I know that I'm gluing the right side. I'm going to grab my glue brush put some, I like the clicking. I mentioned that before. Yes, I'm just a little bit strange. I like that clicking sound, but I like the tick of clocks too. Not that it makes me feel rushed or anything, but I just like church bell chimes too. We live pretty close to a church, and I love hearing the church bell chimes. So we have, and I don't know if you guys know this, I used to live out in the country. And then we had roosters, we had a goat, we had a horse named Latte, and we had chickens. We had, oh, my favorite chicken was Sally. My favorite rooster was Bubbles. I miss Bubbles so much. But our realtor, when we moved, actually took our chickens, which was a blessing. They went to a really good home. Now, my hat's adhered. And then we're going to add our beard. Since I knew it's the right way, I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to take one of my foam circles, and I will add that. And I lost my foam squares here. I'm going to remove my release paper. I'm going to add my beard. Right on the bottom. That could probably go a little lower. There we go. After our beard's adhered, we're going to flip over our maple leaf. We're going to add one of these small foam squares behind our leaf. Remove the release paper. And then we can add this to the center of our beard. And I like tilting them. This one I can't tilt. There we go. That's a good way. I just think that's, who would have thought that just hands on a beard would be cute? But I think that's just so adorable. Now I'm going to take my nose, and we have the smallest foam squares. We'll add one behind, and then we can add this halfway on the beard, halfway on our hat. And then our gnome is good to go. And I just think if you guys have glossy accents or glaze and glue, or diamond glaze, which I'm so sorry. Speaking of the diamond glaze, that was just a nightmare. I'm so sorry. I hope the bottles didn't stick on you. I was so upset about that. I'm so sorry. But anyways, if you have journey glaze and glue, glossy accents, add it to the nose. It will really make a difference. Now I'm going to flip this around. And I'm going to take a foam circle and just put it in the middle of our gnome. And then for the most part, he is good to go. And then I don't think we're going to need to use these extra pieces of foam tape. So we're going to put these back. For our card base, if you guys like, oh, I got lots of extra ones. I got lots of extra squares. We just need one rectangle. I probably threw in extra ones in case, I better leave them out in case we don't get them straight. But take out the cardstock that's the same color as your maple leaf, and then one of your rectangles. This is where we're going to stamp our sentiment. So let's grab our acrylic block and our stamp set. And then we will take the sentiment that we haven't used this. This is "You Are My Favorite Hello" and "My Hardest Goodbye." I think the sentiments are so cute in here. And you know what? We haven't used, I'm going to put this on an acrylic block, but we haven't used the burlap in our classroom. The burlap is this piece right here. I'm calling it burlap, but it's just like a little bit of a texture that will fit inside of your banner. So I love that too. So you could stamp your banner with a dark blue, stamp this with a light blue, and then stamp your sentiment with dark blue. I think that'd make a cute little sentiment. And this is universal, not just for fall, which is nice for stash building. Now I'm going to take my Memento Rich Cocoa ink. Kind of go over your stamp, kind of season. I call it seasoning. I don't know if that's the right term, but We're going to ink it up with our brown ink, and then we'll stamp this right in the center of our rectangle. Let's see if we got it. And I got it a little bit crooked. To me, I'm gonna, since we have extra, might as well get perfection, right? Well, as close as to perfection as we can get, because I don't think I'm ever at perfection. But let's try one more time. And I'm still a little bit crooked to me. Is that crooked to you? We'll try one more time. Third time's been my charm lately. So let's try one more. I have a tendency, I'm going to put my head in the camera here. And that will have to work. Let's see, what's my good one? I think this one was my best one. So let's use that one. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use my stamp cleaner. And we'll put this. I haven't tried running these through the washer. I don't know if they would be worth it, but I can put it through my whites with a little bit of bleach and see what it does. I'll let you guys know in our November kit if it works out, if I remember. But, and again, don't store your towel in here, because I think it needs air to breathe. And if you put it in here, you'll probably get some kind of mold on it or whatever, because there's no oxygen in there. So, and it probably get really stinky. So put it maybe in your or unless you want to punch a hole in that bag. But just a suggestion. Let's put this back, and then that's the stamping that we're gonna do. We'll put our stamp set away in its package so I don't lose it. And then I'm going to use my tape runner, and we're going to add some adhesive behind our sentiment, and we're going to layer it right in the middle of our darker cardstock here. Just kind of matting it. I think that's great. So those two are done. Now I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and we are going to work on our background panel. We're going to start with our plaid paper. And then this is going to go at the, it's longer than this panel, but I did that intentional because this way we can trim one side and they'll be all nice and even. But I'm going to add my plaid on top. Next color will be the little flower paper. We're going to add this. And then we'll put this all the way to the left, close to the seam as you can get, and then tack that down. Actually, I'm going to lift this up carefully and go all the way to the left. And then our next color is the blue polka dots. Let's add this. An alternate way is if you guys want to put tape on here and then add your paper to this. But I don't mind doing it this way. Let's add our next pattern that has the little flowers or starburst on here. And we'll add this all the way to the left, right up against the polka dot. And then we're going to take this piece, add some adhesive behind here, and we're going to layer this one on top of the very bottom of that starburst piece. Like so. So we have different sizes and shapes. Now I'm going to flip this around. This is where our scissors come in. And we are going to trim off the excess. Okay. And then our panel is good. We are going to take our ribbon and we're going to tie, if you guys are not good at tying bows, then you can tie a knot. That's the best thing about this ribbon. But I'm going to tie a bow off to the left here. And I'm lining my ribbon up to just below this pattern paper. And then we will just kind of straighten it up. I think that looks good. You can kind of pull up the ribbon a little bit if you have to, just over that pattern paper edge. Okay, after we have this done, I'm going to take our glue dots and then using this is where our craft pick will come in handy, and we're going to add one glue dot. I'm going to take off the clear top from it while it's on my craft pick. Actually, I'll fold it in half. It's okay if you fold it in half here. And then I'm going to tuck it underneath my bow. This is just going to keep it flat and stationary. After we have that done, we can go ahead and, for this card, sometimes I'll go at an angle, but this card I'm going to go with the lines that are on the ribbon. So we're going to follow the lines that are on the ribbon. So a straight cut. Like that. Okay, if you want to put another glue dot underneath the top of the ribbon to help flatten it, you can do that too. There's lots of glue dots in here. Okay, that will just help flatten that ribbon so it just looks maybe a little bit prettier. And then we're going to take another glue dot, place this in the center of our bow, remove that plastic, and then we have our button. We're going to add our button right to the center. That's not in the center. Let's try it one more time. There we go. So cute. I think that looks cute just like that. If I could make a quilt like this for the spare bedroom, I would love that. Okay, now we have our gnome. Let's go ahead and take our gnome. Actually, we're going to flip over our panel. Let's flip over our panel and we have 6 foam circles left. We're going to add 6 to the back of our panel. And I like to go 1, 2, 3. 1 of 4, 5, and 6. 2 in the middle. That way it doesn't bow, because that's just how I do stuff. Let's remove the release paper. If you have a craft pick, this is a great way. A little trick is if you have a craft pick, which I have glue on my hands, but if you stab your release paper and kind of pull it like so, it's easier to come off. Kind of pierce it and then pull. Sometimes that's the easier way to remove the release paper, like so. Sometimes I do that with the smaller ones. Now I'll take my panel, make sure your card base opens the right way. This is going to go right in the center of your card base. And then I'll take the gnome. We'll release you remove the release paper off of our gnome. And then we'll put him over a little, we're going to set him on our ribbon off to the right. I think that's a good spot. And then we can add our sentiment. For a sentiment, we're going to bring back our little strips, our thin strips, and we can add a couple leftover pieces if you have them. You can add those behind your sentiment also. See, I'll show you again. This is easy way to pick up the release paper is if you pierce it and then you can pull. Sometimes it's just easier with the craft pick. And then I'll take my sentiment. I'm going to tuck this end so you can't see the edge of the paper or the edge of the red cardstock underneath my gnome. And I'm going to go up towards this hat. And we're putting our sentiment in the middle of this pink, orangey pink pattern paper. And I do like it overhanging on the edge. I think that just adds to the card. Now after we have that done, we're kind of off balance. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the card is heavier with this and this being on this side. So to balance it, we're going to bring in our die cut fall leaves. And I love that these are no shed. I'm going to take the orange one of the orange ones and one of the kind of like the pale gold. I'm going to add some glue dots to these, or if you want to use your glue you could. I'm going to use my tape runner. Let's use you could use any kind of adhesive, I guess, for these. We'll start, and I always like to just add adhesive to the bottom because I like it kind of free flowing on the top. But we're going to put one of the leaves almost facing the corner here, and then we'll put the other one right next to it so it's overhanging a little bit on this side. I think that really balances the card out. And then that will finish off lesson number 4 of the Fall Build-A-Gnome Classroom. We have quite a few goodies left. Let me know what you think about the glue. If you guys good or bad, I'm great with criticism. If you guys don't like something, let me know, please, because it just makes me better. If these stink, you gotta tell me, Tina, these aren't the best, and I won't put them in another kit. So I take criticism while I learn from it. I learned that when I had my bakery, because I would make cupcakes. I always thought outside the box with cupcakes. I made a popcorn cupcake, and I thought it tasted really good. You know, the buttercream, I made it extra buttery, and then I've added a little cornmeal to my cupcake batter, and it really did taste like popcorn. It was just, to me, it was good. But customers saying this was not good at all. So I didn't make them anymore. That was the first and last time I ever made a popcorn cupcake. So if you guys don't like this glue, you got to tell me, okay? But that will finish off our Fall Build-A-Gnome Classroom. I hope you had as much fun in the classroom as I did. I sure do love talking with you guys. And I do read I don't respond to all of your comments, but I do read them. And they really make me smile and make my day because you guys are wonderful. But thanks for joining me. Remember, our next classroom lesson will go live October 1st. So remember, I won't have any classrooms in October. That means my November kit will be Christmas themed. I'm super excited about it. So I will let you guys know via email. So make sure you're signed up for that newsletter. I have my plastic. I always forget to add my card. Your envelopes will fit in here too. But I'm going to, sometimes the packages are small and your envelopes won't fit. But this kit, your envelopes will fit because you got a little extra room. And these are all of our cards that we made with, we'll go in order here, with our Fall Build-A-Gnome Classroom. So these are all the cards that we made with the Fall Build-A-Gnome Classroom. I had so much fun. I love these little gnomes. We have one holding a coffee cup, one with the pumpkin, one with the acorn, and one with a fall leaf. But I'm so glad you are with me in my classroom, and I will see you for October's class, or not October's, November's classroom. We'll have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.